What if we gave Elon the budget of FEMA, which I looked up, it's about $30 billion.
There's a rumor out there that FEMA is only providing survivors with $750. This is not true.
My question is, again, where's the federal government? Where's the rest of our elected officials who needs to be here to be able to respond when Americans are in trouble?
Elon Musk is calling out Pete Buttigieg, who must have taken some time off paternity leave to hop on X and respond to Elon, who is criticizing FEMA and our federal government's uselessness in the response to Hurricane Helene. And it's not just that. A lot of people are now saying they're actually actively interfering with the recovery efforts from more competently situated folks with more organization and more capability to support. So Elon posted this on X, and there's a back and forth between Elon and Booty that we'll get into. But it says, okay, Elon writes, just received this note from a SpaceX engineer helping on the ground in North Carolina. He tags FEMA and says, look, FEMA is not merely failing to adequately help people in trouble, but is actively blocking citizens who try to help. Here's a quote. Hey, Elon, update here on the site of Asheville, North Carolina, from one of Elon's team members. We've powered up 2 large operating bases for choppers to deliver goods into hands. We've deployed 300 plus Starlinks, and outpour is it has saved many lives. The big issue is FEMA is actively blocking shipments and seizing goods and services locally and locking them away to state they are their own. It's very real and scary how much they have taken control to stop people helping. We are blocked now on the shipments of new Starlinks coming in until we get an escort from the fire department, but that may not be enough. And so you can decide whether you believe that or not. I absolutely do. I think that this report from somebody who's working from Elon direct to X to our eyeballs is much more credible than anything we'd ever hear from our federal government on anything. But it doesn't stop there. Elon's got some other text messages to support this. He says, I just received this text 20 minutes ago. The level of belligerent government incompetence is staggering. Elon, hey Elon, update here on the site of Asheville. We've powered up different. He says, what the F? FEMA is both incompetent and stopping people from helping. How can I help? Says Elon. Response, it's true. They are now about to shut down the airspace to, quote, regulate the private choppers we are riding in to deliver Starlink and supplies. We are pushing back with the Trump team as well to help us, but it's not looking good. We need help to get the word out about FEMA. We spoke with Ivanka and handed out Starlinks with her yesterday, but FEMA then showed up and started blocking us. The largest concern for us here is the FAA throttling our flights from our choppers where they are requiring to and from information and a mission now to deliver a discrete code and all this. Doing this takes a long time and is very cumbersome to the ops. This is the largest concern and most help we could use, but I appreciate you, Elon. Posted that, and then Booty came out of the woodwork and he responded. Pete, he said, no one is shutting down the airspace, Elon, and the FAA doesn't block legitimate rescue and recovery flights. If you're encountering a problem, give me a call. He says, well, there are hundreds of reports of FEMA and the FAA blocking flights. Like this literally just happened. I have the text right here. So, hey, Pete Booty, I will follow you. Please DM me the number to call. Elon says, still waiting, Booty. The helicopter is trying to land and deliver critical supplies. So can you please tell me what number to call? Pete's like, oh crap, what number? Give him a phone number. What do we call him? He's like, oh crap. Brian jumps out, and you know how he sounds. Are they trying to land in an unsafe location? Elon says, no, they're trying to land right there. We tried to land here, and the law enforcement here waved us off. What the F? Says Elon. What the F? And that's right there in the middle of the parking lot. Can we land there? No. Purple circle is the officer that sits there to wave us off. We had food, we had water, we had 2 Starlinks in hand. They had a friggin' helicopter that was going to land him there. This group we are with is badass, man. They said today, well, we will force them to take supplies and just, right, look, a bunch of people ready to go help. And our government that's like, we'll give you $750 if you're nice to us. So that's what Elon said. Now, apparently they did have a phone call. And so this is new. You can see they are reporting here from Elon. Thanks for the call, Pete. Hopefully we can resolve this soon. And he also responded, oh, there's no difficulty landing, right? Are you saying that this man and hundreds of others are lying? Nick Sortor, who's been grinding over there, he said, yeah, this should shock absolutely nobody, okay? FEMA is actively hindering relief efforts, as our government usually is useless. Moreover, now they're claiming the Starlinks that I personally delivered as the ones they've delivered. And remember how much crap and guff they've given Elon? Like, the FCC is at his throat every step of the turn. Everywhere he goes, he's got new, discrimination, employment claims. It's ridiculous. What if we gave Elon the budget of FEMA, which I looked up, it's about $30 billion. Do you think that Elon could have a little better response team for a fraction of that cost? He'd be landing friggin' rockets, setting up new houses. It'd be wild. All the robots running around here for $30 billion. Are you kidding? But FEMA is just interfering with the actual people who are doing the work. And instead, they're now bickering over money because they paid it all to illegals, as we'll talk about. So Elon and Booty had a conversation about this, and hopefully they get it sorted out. But the question remains, why is FEMA so incompetent? The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show got this clip. Axelrod, former Obama guy, mega Democrat player, is out talking about it in those terms, saying his people, the Democrats, they're still going to turn out. Republicans might be a little bit less able.
Here's my question about North Carolina. You had these killer storms, which, by the way, was a third big story this week.
Yes,
these
another
storms. And there's a lot of displacement in western North Carolina. Now, Asheville is a blue dot in that area, but there are a lot of Republican voters
Asheville's
there.
Key.
But those voters in Asheville, the kind of voters who will figure out a way to vote, they're upscale kind of liberal voters, and they're probably going to figure out a way to vote. I'm not sure a bunch of these folks who've had their homes and lives destroyed elsewhere in western North Carolina in the mountains there are going to be as easy to wrangle for the Trump campaign. Here's my...
See how that goes? Right? Exactly right. So it was a suppressive effect that they'll take full advantage of. As we know, the Democratic Party is now the party of industry-rich liberals. Big education, big agriculture, big pharma, big war, big business, big finance, everything, right? So that they've got a lot of money. And so they probably got second homes. They'll just pick up and go somewhere else. Now they're coming out now at FEMA and saying that we're just spreading misinformation. Okay, they're doing a great job. Stop whining about it. They're at least giving people $750, and so that's good enough. And if you want any more money, well, maybe you should get invaded by Russia or something, okay?
This is Kiera in the National Response Coordination Center. There's a rumor out there that FEMA is only providing survivors with $750. This is not true. One type of assistance, serious needs assistance, does provide survivors with $750 for essentials like baby formula, food, water, medication, and other essential supplies. But there are other forms that you may qualify for after you apply for disaster assistance. You can receive things like temporary housing or home repair costs. For more information, click the link.
Okay, so maybe they'll be more useful in the coming days, but everything that we're seeing from Elon and other reports on X and people that we follow and trust is that they're doing a terrible job, and they're openly, actively talking about the political ramifications of it, and so one doesn't need to speculate too hard. President Trump is talking about this as well, saying that they've done a terrible job, and it would be nice to have some competent government. They told us the adults are going to be back in charge, and everything's going to be amazing. It will be when Trump's back, baby.
In North Carolina and in Georgia and in some others too, they have no communication whatsoever. All of the poles are down. All of the wires are down. They're all lying in the mud, right? And I said, what can I do? They said, we need help. And I called Elon, and I'm telling you, it was amazing. The call wasn't even over, and Starlink units were being delivered to North Carolina and now to Georgia. Georgia called me a little bit later, and I said, we'll get them. And they were very happy. The governor of Georgia is actually working very hard. Everybody was so happy. Elon delivered so quickly. I'm telling you, the phone wasn't, I was getting calls, thank you very much. The call's not even over yet. And I said, that's great, Elon, thank you.
So Elon springs into action. Now, while our citizens are having a hard time, this one senator has something that he wants you to really think about, because things are tough in North Carolina, but it's a big world out there, you know?
I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. I hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. Our friends in Israel are surrounded by people that want to kill them, destroy them, a second Holocaust in the making. And Biden says, be proportional. What is the proportional response to people who want to kill you and your family?
Segue.
They're running out of ammunition in Israel. We have to help our friends.
Okay, so nice segue. So North Carolina, stop it, okay? It's only a hurricane that wants to kill you, okay? It's not terrorists. So think about them, which is just par for the course, man. It's going to be so nice when he is not in our government anymore. Matt Gaetz is out trying to respond to this missing money, or money that was reapportioned, because it's not really missing. We know where it is. It's in the pockets of illegal aliens, and and the grifters who enable the entire industry. But Matt Gaetz came out with a letter and sent a letter to Alejandro Mayorkas from Homeland. And so let's see what Gaetz said. From Matt Gaetz, 1st District out of Florida, sent over to the Honorable Alejandro Mayorkas. He says, all right, dear Alejandro, listen. Yesterday, you stated that FEMA, which is part of your department, quote, does not have enough funds to make it through the hurricane season. What? Is it in Ukraine? Is that why? This news comes after FEMA has spent hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars on migrants due to Kamala Harris' open border, and instead of prioritizing funding for Americans impacted by these disasters. Now, my office, Alejandro, has been in contact with whistleblowers in numerous emergency management functions at the federal, state, and local levels, and they all point to the same critical mismanagement issues. FEMA has wasted taxpayer dollars, misappropriated funds, and left other federal, state, and local responders without deployment orders on the ground. As reported and further confirmed by my office, hundreds, if not thousands, of service members were deployed by the Department of Defense to North Carolina to have sat idle, waiting for FEMA. We have confirmed FEMA employees deployed on the clock, awaiting orders in hotels, just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. FEMA pre-disaster aid was withheld, exacerbating the emergency. It is also public that NGOs have published airline tickets for migrants through the use of these FEMA funds. Now, the aftermath of Hurricane Helene is a major disaster, Alejandro, and your waste and your unpreparedness are leaving Americans in distress, unable to access food, water, or medicine, and expecting help with none coming. And so why don't you provide some answers to me? By October 11th. 1. What policies and regulations from Homeland and FEMA prevent emergency funds from being wasted on illegals? And what conditions are placed on grantees of the agency? Answer, none. I'll answer that right now. Of FEMA's total budget, so he's Congress now, he's asking questions about the power of the purse. What portion of funds can be guaranteed to have been spent solely on American citizens, and what portions of the fund was or have been spent on non-citizens? Oh, that's going to be horrible to learn that number. It's like, wait. You get the bill. Wait, what? Are you sure? Fiscal year 2024, what portion of funds in the disaster relief fund have been spent on non-disaster relief, like giving services to illegal aliens and providing routine training to FEMA employees? That came out of general appropriations. Let us know. Sincerely, your friend, Matt Gaetz from Florida. Here's a midday update. We have 67 Polaris generators that we're going to be distributing across West North Carolina to help get power back to hard-hit areas, to make contact with families, to power the Starlink systems, to support aid stations, and to get communities help. We are inbound, and you are not forgotten, North Carolina. Thank you to all our partners, especially Mercury One Charity. And so this dude is ex-military, I believe, and he was also on Fox News. Let's listen to this exchange of him explaining the situation.
Republican out of Florida, and sir, good morning to you. I was looking at your resume here. You've helped out in Haiti, Israel, Afghanistan, and now you're on your 3rd hurricane. Where are you today? What are you going to be doing, knowing that the government, in your words, is too big and too slow to help?
Well, they are too big and too slow, and thanks for going ahead and covering this. Again, we're so quick to forget things like the incidents in Maui or hurricanes here in Florida, or even the recent hurricane with Hurricane Helene that's impacted North Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia so much, but we'll focus and prioritize illegal criminal migrants as well as for borders 9,000 miles away. Again, I think America needs to get its priorities straight, but really right now what we're trying to do is to continue to bring supplies. So as of yesterday on day 3, we've distributed about 13,000 pounds of various supplies, everything from Starlink systems to different locations that are completely remote and cut off and isolated so that we can get our missing persons numbers down. Remember, a lot of people are saying, well, I haven't heard from my family member since the last text I received, which is that it's getting bad. And so that obviously allows us to be able to cut down the number of welfare checks that we're doing, as well as for search and rescue missions. We're distributing generators today, food supplies, and mostly medications. Again, people are running short on insulin, on oxygen bottles, on key essentials. And so we've got a cost of $212 that every single day we're loading with different materials thanks to great organizations and charities like Mercury One, thanks to organizations like Universal Air. We utilize the helicopters to be able to do remote pickup and rotary wing. But we're also doing evacuations. Just the other day, there's an 83-year-old man, it was his birthday actually, who was suffering from signs of hypertension or cardiac arrest. And this is a guy who's been having cancer treatments, and he had had to be immediately medevaced from Bailey, North Carolina, where we picked him up, all the way over to Johnson City. So we're hitting about 3-4 cities a day. Yesterday we hit Pensacola, and talking to the fire chief there was very, very disheartening. He said that they had 4 fatalities recently, 2 of which they knew that floated down the river they couldn't get to. And he said that they'll be recovering bodies, unfortunately, throughout the end of the year. So this is a horrific incident. There's towns that are absolutely devastated. And my question is, again, where's the federal government? Where's the rest of our elected officials who needs to be here to be able to respond when Americans are in trouble?
Worried about other things, tons of people diving in, heroes, all of them. And so we'll keep sending our love and energy that way.